Hey there everyone, Hanyou here, and welcome back to Higurashi When They Cry, Ch.1 Onikakushi. Not gonna lie, the last episode gave me chills, gave me goosebumps, and creeped me out more than a little bit. Which is a good thing. It's one of the reasons I'm playing these. Playing these is for the tension and the drama and the mystery and the hints of horror and stuff like that. So, you know, I mean, it's definitely doing its job. So, carrying on from last time, we're in a restaurant with the policeman, detective, whatever you want to call him. Uishi? I think that's his name. Anyway, carrying on, regardless of how the waitress looked, the food was decent enough. Yes, I was right. Finishing our meals while talking about some inane topic, Uishi-san's after-meal cup of coffee arrived at the table. Yesterday we talked about Hinamizawa's past, didn't we? Yeah, that's it. That it was the village of man-eating demons or something like that. I don't know much about it. Okay, didn't mean to do that. I don't know much about it myself, so I asked my grandmother about it this morning. Uishi-san took out the notepad that was stuffed into his breast pocket. Turns out that Hinamizawa used to be called Onikakushi, or Ogre's Abyss. Interesting. Onikakushi. That's quite the name. The name is still around. The marsh where the Shinto priest's wife drowned herself is still called Ogre's Abyss. It's said that the depths of that marsh connect to the realm of demons. Interesting. But wait, I think we already knew that part. Of course, nobody had told me anything about such an ominous marsh. And you see, it appears they were both feared and revered. A respect born of fear. I guess you could say it was a kind of deification. A village of inhuman creatures. Seems the demons were sennin, or mountain-dwelling mystics of sorts. Taking villagers with incurable illnesses into the Ogre's Abyss and healing them, for example. Even if we are calling them demons, Tengu, long-nosed goblins, or sennin would be a more apt description. They don't seem like such terrible people, even though they were called demons. But they were still man-eating demons. According to the story my grandma told me, as payment for treating the son's illness, let us eat the mother who brought him here, was apparently how things went. The price of curing her son was herself? That's unsettling. Of course, the mother took her son and ran. Then, you see, all the people who lived in Onikakushi, the demons chased them down, rounded them up, and captured them. Oh boy, that's disturbing. The entire village, apparently. That's quite a frightening thing to imagine. In the end, it seems both the mother and son were caught and eaten. The end. There is a problem with this story. Both witnesses in this story were eaten, so nobody would be able to tell the tale. Huh? Bah! There are plenty of old fables like this. In contrast to the ghastly tale, Uishi-san laughed heartily while sipping his coffee. But well, there are quite a few other tales where the demons from Onikakushi band together to capture their prey. I recalled that Mion said all the villagers united and fought against the dam construction. I saw similarities with how that part about unification overlapped. Normally they hunted down a single person and they chose who it was going to be beforehand. Ooh. Huh? That caught my attention. Oishi-san also appeared to be pondering what it meant. My grandmother told me that you must never interfere with the demon's hunt. You should just hole up in your house and hide under the covers, she said. So what does this all mean? What they just said about never interfering with the demon's hunt and stuff like that, and holding up in your house, that kind of reminds me of Bloodborne. The whole hunter's moon and stuff like that, and how people hold up in their house to avoid the hunt, so to speak. That is intriguing. There is a resemblance there. So what does this all mean? It means you mustn't ever help or protect the prey. Okay. As long as you don't disturb the demon's hunt, no harm will fall upon the villagers. It seems there's that kind of rule. Basically, don't help the victims. Pretend you didn't see the atrocities. In other words, what happens if you break the rule? Well, they're man-eating demons after all. Many parts of that tale caught my attention. Parts of the story he told me overlapped with his theory that the perpetrators were all the village families. Even if it wasn't the whole village, it was conceivable that the villagers were hiding under the covers and leaving them to die when there's a group that was on their hunt, wasn't it? I didn't dare speak it. Then Uishi-san, I guess it looks like it's either the village families or a group of villagers perpetrating the crimes. What do you think, Maebara-san? Ah, excuse me. Another cup of coffee, please. That's what I wanted to know. It seemed that we were both waiting for the other to say that last part. I waited for the waitress to finish pouring coffee before speaking. Last year I had a nagging feeling when Satoshi-kun disappeared. Uishi-san muttered as he watched the milk swirl around in his coffee. So those friends of Satoshi-san, meaning your group of friends, Maebara-san, I had a bit... really, just a little bit, okay? Of background checking done on them. If Uishi-san had said this to me before, I would have been furious, since he'd told me earlier not to suspect my friends. But as I was now, I couldn't. This might sound pretty stupid, Maebara-san. If you feel that it's stupid, please say so. I'll just stop. Uishi-san was wearing the most serious expression that I'd ever seen from him. It was as if he was telling me to prepare myself and listen. There were quite a few things I regretted hearing from Uishi-san. But none of them were as threatening as this. A little voice inside me was screaming like an alarm. Stop, Keiichi. This was probably the last one. I took a deep breath and silenced that voice. I would not run from the truth. Please. That was all I could utter. Uishi-san stared into my eyes silently for a few moments. After he was certain I was ready, he began. The victim of the incident in the first year was the overseer. A few weeks prior, he had an altercation with Mion Sonozaki-san. Multiple altercations. Uishi-san had said before that Mion had defied the dam project vehemently. Well, it wasn't hard to imagine how she'd be if she got worked up. In the second year, the married couple who supported the project died in that accident, right? They had a daughter. Her name is Satoko Hojo-san. Okay, that gave me goosebumps. What about the year after that? I'm guessing I know the answer. Let me guess. Related to Rina. Not Rina, Rika. Right? Huh? Satoko meaning Satoko? Uishi-san's look told me that my voice was too loud. I realized it as well and quickly quieted down. The Shinto priest and his wife who died in the third year. You see, their daughter is Rika Furude-san. Oh boy. So all my friends are in one way, shape, or form connected to the killings and the Onikakushi that have been going on. Great! Just fucking peachy! Which means the next year Rika-chan was? The housewife who died in the fourth year. You know already, don't you? It was the step-aunt of Satoko. Okay. Interesting. She was in her aunt and uncle's custody, and she had lost both her parents in the accident. She lived in the victim's house. I could tell my lips were getting dry. I didn't even have the wits to keep my mouth from hanging agape. I had thought it was nothing but a bizarre incident, one that I could easily distance myself from, but clicking and clacking it had snuck all the way to my feet. The one who disappeared the fourth year, by the way, he was Satoko's older brother. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh fuck. Yeah. That's how I'm feeling right now. That's messed up, man. Now I see why they didn't want to talk about it. Now I see why Mion, Satoko, Rika all didn't want to talk about it. It all involved their family, which is probably why Rina doesn't want to talk about it either, because they're close friends to her, and talking about them is painful. And then you gotta think on the other hand and think that they're possibly involved. So there's two sides to this. Either they don't want to talk about it because it's painful to talk about, or they don't want to talk about it because it draws suspicion to them. Either way, man, that's fucked up. What? Wait, just a second. It took everything I had to finally say that. I gulped down a glass of water and once again wiped my face with a napkin. Calm down, Keiichi Mibara. But Uishi-san was relentless. Instead of waiting for me to finish sorting out my feelings, he started speaking again. The last of the things I shouldn't have heard. All of the victims seem to be connected to your group of friends. That's some pretty heavy shit, man. No joke. No joke. That has to be just a coincidence. See, there's coincidences, and then there's too much to be a fucking coincidence. And this is kind of teetering on the line between the two. Maibara-san, keep it down. Everyone's looking. Mion? Satoko? Rika-chan? So what if they're connected? You're telling me all of my friends... It couldn't be, it just couldn't be. Oh, Rina is different, isn't she? Rina isn't connected with the victims at all. Rina Ryugu was living in a suburb of Ibaraki Prefecture up until last year. Well, it's true she hadn't directly met any of the victims. He said it in a roundabout way. Is he saying she's also connected? Actually, I looked into her. Before Ryugu-san moved away to Hinamazawa, she was suspended from school. What was she suspended for? We're gonna find out all our friends are psychopaths, aren't we? It seems she went through her school building and broke all of the windows. What? Rina did that? She must have anger management issues. I mean, I kind of get that, considering the way she acted the other day. You know, minus the whole standing outside my room listening to me talk on the phone for an hour. Oh boy. She broke all the windows at her school. That same silly Rina had. I couldn't even imagine it. It seems that after her 3-day suspension, she didn't return to school. She went to a neurologist and was diagnosed with dysautonomia. She was given weeks of counseling and medication. I wonder if it was like a nervous breakdown. Hold on. I gotta look up what that is real quick. Let's see. It is dysautonomia. Huh. Interesting. Dysautonomia is not a single disorder. The term describes a number of conditions which affect the autonomic nervous system. This section of the nervous system controls automatic body functions like heart rate and breathing. So, how would having dysautonomia lead her to doing that? That's interesting. And how would counseling help with something like that? Interesting. Anyway, if you wish to read more into it yourselves, please do so. I am not going to read more about that in this episode. So, carrying on. Something like a nervous breakdown. I'd heard that it happens to people who are really methodical or overly sensitive. See, given the way that they're using dysautonomia and stuff, I don't think they actually knew what it meant when they used it in this narrative, because it doesn't make any sense based off what I've heard, what I just read that it is. Anyway, neither of those matched Rina's easygoing personality. And in the counselor's medical report, he recorded all of the conversations he had with Rina-san. It shows up, and quite a bit at that. What did? I pressed forward carelessly. There couldn't be anything more for me to regret. She mentioned the word Oyashiro-sama. And this is before she moved to Hinamazawa. So that is interesting. But maybe she had visited Hinamazawa during the festival previously. So I guess during the Watanagashi. So maybe it would kind of make sense that she would know about Oyashiro-sama. So it's not instantly incriminating, or what. That's not the word I'm looking for, but you know what I mean. It felt like someone's stone cold hand was caressing my back. Why? Why had Rina spoken of Oyashiro-sama before she even came to Hinamazawa? I just gave you a possible reason. Seems that the Oyashiro-sama she spoke of was like a ghost appearing in her house every night. Okay, never mind. Forget what I just said. Standing over her pillow, looking down at her. That's creepy. My mind froze. I couldn't process what I was being told. After a while after that, she moved to Hinamazawa. Ah, that's right. She's not an outsider. Huh? According to their residency register... Oh, that when that music kicked in, instant goosebumps, but... According to their residency register, the Ryugu family used to reside in Hinamazawa. Rina-san moved to Ibaraki right after she finished elementary school. My mind went completely blank. It was similar to the static you'd see on a blank TV channel. My ears began ringing as I lost all sense of comprehension. Maebara-san, are you alright? Shall we stop? Those words brought me back. I couldn't let it end here. Now I understand Rina. Then, how about the last victim, Tomitake-san? Who is he connected with? Irritated, I let out one final reprisal. All of them. I mean, obviously. But... oh, boy. So are you saying after we parted ways with all four of them, the four of them then regrouped together and attacked Tomitake-san? Is that what we're getting at here? Oh boy. Chills, man. Chills. Oh boy. Apologize for the moments of silence during these episodes sometimes, but occasionally I just have to let what I'm reading process for a second, and it's just like... oh boy. Yeah, that's all of them. Have you forgotten, Maebara-san? Didn't you all spend the night of the festival together quite merrily? Quite a few of the officers saw you enjoying yourselves. Now there was nothing I could respond with. I fell silent as my brain turned to mush. We should get going. Maibara-san, did you take your afternoon medicine? I had completely forgotten about the medicine I had gotten today until Oishi-san said that. I got another glass of water and we left the shop after I chugged it down. We got into the car and returned to Hinamazawa via the rough road. I never really paid attention when I was on my bike, but did cars normally shake this much? It was almost as if the road was desperately trying to tell me something. But that big jolt from the difference in elevation from the road when it changed from cement to dirt. I was certain that I heard Tomitake-san scream. I sat in silence, just letting myself be shaken by the car. I'll drop you off at your house. You missed school because you were ill, correct? My apologies for the long conversation. Why did you talk to me? I blurted out the question. Really, just blurted it out. I didn't expect an answer. I did check with you first, didn't I? If we should just stop. Not that. Why did you reach out to me? I understood quite well that Uishi-san was investigating this string of suspicious incidents. But why was he telling me all this? I knew nothing and I couldn't help. Everything Uishi-san spoke of was news to me. First of all, what could I, having just moved here, know? By chance, if there was a reason for Uishi-san to reach out to me, then it would have to be that I looked suspicious to Uishi-san, as I was part of Mion's circle of friends. I'm retiring this year. I plan on moving away after retiring as my grandma wants. So while I'm still on the case, I want to bring the truth behind this incident to light. So, Uishi-san, you suspect them, don't you? All of them. Uishi-san didn't really give a response. It felt a little late, but I thought it was his way of showing a bit of consideration for my feelings. This is mostly my intuition from 30 years on this job. Maibara-san, you're the one in danger. Huh? I wanted to reply with, that was absurd, but in my downtrodden state, I couldn't bring myself to say it. I'll be retiring this year, so I won't be at Watanagashi next year. So I want to settle things. In other words, he was insinuating that on the next Watanagashi, I might be the victim. I've been warned by the chief as well. Each incident in the string of cases has been solved, so don't bring it up again, or so I was told. This is the pressure that I'm facing. Pressure from what? Someone in Hinamazawa. We've arrived. Is this fine? After some time, the car finally reached the path to my house. The clock read 2 p.m. I was surprised so little time had passed since we ate. It was hot outside the car. The chirping of the Higurashi hurt my ears. I won't mind if you just forgot everything I told you today. But I'm still going to keep investigating. I'll end Oyashiro-sama's curse this year. So you're saying I should contact you if anything happens? It's fine. Just contact me when you feel you have to, Maibara-san. I wasn't collected enough to understand Oishi-san's roundabout way of saying it. Be sure to take it easy. I'm sorry for throwing all this at you while you're taking a day off because you're sick. I don't really give any sort of response. And with that, we will be ending this episode. If you enjoyed it, please leave it a like, and don't forget to subscribe for more content in the future. And until next time, everybody, have a good one. I'll see you next time, and goodbye.